Sure, the Yankees might have missed out on Juan Soto, but that means that they've got a ton of money that they're looking to spend this offseason, and they did it right here. Signing Max Fried to an 8-year, $218 million contract. We had heard it all this week. Max Fried was expected to make his decision by the end of the MLB winter meetings, and here he is. The Yankees get him. Supposedly, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox were the other two finalists, if you want to call it that. There's development that a team was going to offer him a 7-year deal, and Max Fried gets 8 years at $218 million. Since setting records is the hip thing nowadays, here's another one. The largest guaranteed contract in baseball history for a left-handed pitcher. That is going to Max Fried. We knew this was coming, right? The Yankees, who were just in the World Series last year, they're hungry. They want to get across that finish line for the first time since 2009. They missed out on Juan Soto, who they would have had to pay $50 million a year. Well, now they're going to try and spend that $50 million or perhaps even more elsewhere. And they're going to start by signing a really great pitcher. I can't call him an ace because Gerrit Cole is still the ace of that staff in New York. But then you look at what else they've got. Carlos Rodon, Clarke Schmidt, Luis Gil. My guess would be signing a big pitcher like this is definitely going to open up trading one of Nestor Cortes or Marcus Stroman. There's a lot of talk about the Yankees being interested in the Nolan Arenado sweepstakes if the Cardinals are going to trade him. Nolan's contract is quite big. It's unrealistic that the Yankees would take on all of that themselves. So a Marcus Stroman type would be a help to alleviate a bit of that contract. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm worried about signing a pitcher to 8 years. I think there's a reason why you don't see that happen too often, especially in today's age, because every pitcher gets injured. I mean, there's almost no pitchers that are immune from IL trips. And we've seen countless superstars go under the knife requiring Tommy John surgery, in some instances, multiple times. So 8 years, that is a big commitment. Ultimately, looking at the contract, as far as we know right now, it is about $28 million AAV that the Yankees are going to be paying Max Fried, which is not too bad for the caliber of a starting pitcher he is. The AAV, I'm really not concerned about. It's just the long-term nature of this deal. If we find out that there's some sort of option for the team, maybe vesting options requiring Fried to pitch so many innings for him to continue on this deal, I'll include that in the video. But as it stands right now, that is a lot of years for Max Fried. A tremendous pitcher. One of the best in baseball, that's going to make this Yankees rotation maybe the best in baseball potentially. The Dodgers are there, but if the Yankees can stay healthy, you've got Gerrit Cole, Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Luis Gil, and Clarke Schmidt. That is a damn good 5. Now, on the positive side of things, being optimistic about Max staying on the field for hopefully the majority of these 8 years, he's relatively been healthy throughout his career. In 2023, he started just 14 games. He suffered a hamstring strain in his opening day start, came back, pitched a few games, and then re-landed on the IL, this time with the forearm strain. But in the grand scheme of things, he's been mostly available, hitting most of his starts in his time in Atlanta. He's also not a prototypical power pitcher. A lot of the guys getting hurt nowadays are the fireballers, the ones that are really pushing the radar gun. Fried will still toss 93, 94 on an average fastball, but I don't think he's going to be stressing his arm quite as much as some of the other guys that have hit the shelf. Otherwise, speaking to how good Max Fried is, he is the 3rd lowest ERA since 2020 amongst all qualified pitchers. Only Clayton Kershaw and Brandon Woodruff rank lower. and Max Fried has pitched about 200 innings more than those two. Max is not a strikeout guy. His career K per 9 is just 8.8, about average to maybe even a bit below average, but where he excels is missing barrels, at limiting hard hit contact. Max Fried is consistently at the top of the leaderboards in inducing ground balls. He may not be able to miss so many bats, but he damn sure will be able to dictate how hard and where you hit that baseball. And that's what's allowed him to be this all-star Cy Young caliber pitcher that results in him getting $218 million. Now, I am a little worried about the walk numbers. Back in like 2022, 2021, he was better at limiting the free passes. This year, his BB9 was up to 2.9, which isn't awful, but for a guy that doesn't get a ton of strikeouts, you would like to see that reel back in. But I think he's definitely got what it takes to do that. He typically has good command of the zone. I don't mind it. I'm talking myself into it more and more. This is the kind of guy that can age gracefully, because right now at nearly 31 years old, he doesn't rely upon his 99, 100-mile-an-hour fastball that is bound to decrease in velocity as he gets older. And I think this style of pitching lends itself well to keeping himself on the field. I still think 8 years is a lot, but I do like the move from the Yankees here. You know, maybe their thought process slightly is, well, we missed out on Juan Soto. We might not score quite as many runs next year, but we're going to give up even fewer with the addition of Max Fried. And surely there's still moves to be made. We know first base, second base / third base are opportunities for the Yankees to improve and add new pieces, and we'll see as that happens. Free agency is really hitting its peak right now. I just saw the Guardians traded away Andres Gimenez to the Blue Jays, so I'm going to check that out. But let me know what you guys think about Max Fried heading to the Bronx. I mean, here it is, the arms race of the big market teams battling it out in free agency.